Bing, 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 bing. It's the recap.
All right. So, last we left off with the Nine Hells Company. You all ventured back into Castle Obarksyr, where you successfully went through the rookery into the castle halls. You managed to navigate the halls and go down into the waiting room of Forgalore, the now unused waiting room in Castle Obarksyr. The purple glyphs on the wall producing the constant fog spell, clouding the corridors and the whole castle with it. You entered into the waiting room cautiously, John Claude going first and finding the stairs, and every subsequent stairs that you came across was covered in webs, getting stuck on it. You heard once entering the room there was a battle going on, sort of spells being slung at one another in a room directly to the north of this long hallway. Upon entering, John Claude was attacked by a strange little shadow. I'll say little, it was a large shadow that came past in a quick flash, slashing across his torso. You all decided to get the webs off him and decided to split up into this room as the strange shadow thing didn't attack again. Once you all split up, however, Fiddle being the furthest to the left of the wide kind of hallway of the waiting room, he was pounced upon by what revealed itself to be a beast of Malar, a third four-legged creature with a bushy tail, a red face, that mauled him to bits, I think it's safe to say, before disappearing into the mist once more. You all decided to regroup because of this, and it didn't attack. So you decided best course of action is to stay together in a group and sort of shuffle your way to the north of the room towards the doors. You stumbled across a dead body, a dead knight's body, which some of you recognise to be Sir Belred's True Silver, which was essentially a human male knight that was always by the Queen's side, Queen Alusair's side. He had his torso cut open with all his intestines sprawled along the floor, along with just gashes of blood left, right, and centre like he'd been clawed at. You shuffled all the way to the north side of the waiting room, where you came across these decadent, big, iron-cladded doors, where you heard, all of you at this point, the spell-slinging battle going on inside. This door was labelled the throne room. Upon barging into the throne room, you saw a long room with a high arching rooftop, two raised platforms either side with loads of chairs on them, and then at the far side, two kind of spiral staircases that led up to a raised platform with three chairs on them, all of them ornate in decoration, with the middle one being the biggest of them all, which was the throne, the Obarksyr throne. Queen Alusair stood next to it with her armor and a greatsword, looking up as you all looked up at the ceiling and saw one figure, Lord Magister Sthavar, a human male, flying in the air, slinging spells at what revealed itself to be an undead lich by the name of Acererak. They were flying around in the air, slinging spells at one another as initiative started. Acerak's main focus of attack was at Queen Alusair, slinging spells in her direction as you all swiftly made your way over to extract the Queen from the room. Gregory using Dimension Door, John Claude running over as well as you managed to convince her to leave Lord Magister and leave the throne room. However, before she could reach the doors, Acererak pointed out a finger and uttered some foul, evil words and casting the spell Power Word Kill, dropping Queen Alusair to the floor. Swiftly following her, Lord Magister Sthavar fell to 0 hit points and fell from the ceiling and crash landed into a table before being resuscitated. And the Blue Dragon War Mage, Robert, that was following you in the castle, also fell in this battle. Fiddle went to fly up towards Acererak as Sthavar swiftly resuscitated, started casting the teleportation spell, trying to gather everyone in the radius before casting the spell, waiting a turn. As you all decided to run back to his point, Fiddle, flying back down, got struck in the back by Acererak, dropping him to 0 hit points as he fell into Soleil's arms. Fortunately for you all, Acererak had used his reaction that turn to cast Counterspell on one of his own spells, so he wasn't able to counterspell the teleportation as you all teleported out. Well, everyone but one. Blue Dragon War Mage Robert left, dying in the throne room, as you all teleported out, and then after a flash of white light, you all started falling a couple of feet before you crash landed into a rolling hill, rolling downwards until you landed into a flat kind of clearing in this strange forest. You all looked round, and after some correction, managed to swiftly, Gregory doing this, resuscitate the queen, using, or borrowing, should I say, Sthavar's gem to consume for the spell Revivify, bringing the queen back to life. Fiddle was brought back to life as well. I believe that was due to Gregory as well. Might be mistaken in that one though.
What a hero.
He was definitely the support. Upon everyone basically making it out in what seemed like a lopsided fight, you all just kind of took a moment to breathe and lick your wounds, so to speak. John Claude quickly got to work trying to find a makeshift encampment for the night where you could all take a long rest, as it was roughly about 1 a.m. He found like a nice little clearing near a stream where Fiddle set up Leomund's tiny hut. And some of you lent, I believe, some a tent, or they pulled out their own tent, one of them. But Lord Magister Sthavar created a tent for the Queen to sleep in, where he slept in the same tent as well, but in a different bed. The rest of you slept in Leomund's tiny hut, all of you except John Claude, who decided to go down to a nearby stream and fall asleep on a rock there. And we left off last session with all of you just kind of sat, all bloodied, bruised, searing pain from all your cuts, and sort of all reflecting in silence about this is the first time, at least in a long while for some of you, where you've had your asses handed to you, and it seemed like an unfair fight and maybe a bit of injustice. And that is where we're going to pick up this session. So you all are taking a long rest. So unless there's anything anyone would like to do during the night, you can all benefit from a long rest.
Very nice. Needed that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gregory, I did mark off some slots on yours as well, so yours should be updated with some other stuff that might be unfamiliar on
No, it's fine. No worries.
D&D Beyond.
God, you use all of my 3rd level spell slots. All my 4th levels as well.
Yeah.
It was a big
A
fight.
singular 4th level spell shot. How dare you?
I think that might have been a dimension door. I'm not too sure though. As you're all kind of sleeping there, I'm just sort of giving kind of a background thing while you all sort those mechanics out. You start seeing during the night, as some of you, because you only really sleep for 6 hours, you could, for flavor wise, sleep the whole 8 because it was a rough and grueling day, especially attending a ball beforehand and then going off to fight in the castle. It would have been a huge amount of energy, and a lot of you would be knackered after it. Be very eventful. 5 or 6 hours. You all
I
start.
would quite like to sleep for all 8, but I think, as anybody with pets will know, FM would wake me up as soon as humanly possible.
For sure. So you would get, I was going to say, aroused
Also,
by
aren't you
FM.
like massively paranoid as well?
I am massively paranoid. Did I even get to sleep? That's a good question.
It's up to you. What do you think Fiddle would have done?
I don't think it was good sleep.
For those of you that might have taken a bit longer to sleep. Say John Claude as well, like you being on the stream and not being within the warmth of the Leomund's tiny hut. Although you're kind of used to just camping out in the woods and stuff, being a ranger, so maybe it was very easy for you just throwing like a fur blanket over you and finding a nice flat rock. But you notice there's sort of trinkles, little flakes of snow that start coming down from the tree openings and the tree canopies. And
Sounds chilly.
yeah, you start feeling the condensation exhaling from your breath. But those of you inside the hut, you don't really notice much difference, as Fiddle's able to determine what the basically what the climate is in here. You know, the warmth, the sounds. But you all benefit from a long rest, and as the morning rolls over to roughly about 8 a.m., you would have all got to sleep around about 2 a.m. John Claude, you're the first to awake, and you are frozen cold as winter's breath has started kind of rolling over Faerun as the turning of the seasons. You're shivering under the blanket as you look over at the unattended campfire that was outside of the hut that you set up. It should have died out by now, but it's still lit. You look over and you see a silhouetted figure sits on the opposite side of the campfire, sitting down, attending to the fire with a cast iron pot held above with a tripod wooden stakes. You just see a silhouette, and you hear a voice speaks over to you. You know, for a ranger, I would have thought you'd seek better shelter when sleeping in the woods at the breath of winter. And you hear the voice of Tasha carry across the clearing to where you're laying. What are you doing?
Tasha's back.
Oh, I haven't practiced my French yet. I'm gonna have to be northern for a while.
Nah, just be like soft French.
Baguette.
Isn't it? You've just woken up.
Baguette.
Again.
Yeah.
Again.
Oui, oui, baguette.
Je suis un grand pamplemousse, s'il vous plaît.
Oui, oui. Pour femme.
Ah, mademoiselle, it's so good to see you this morning. It's a Dutch chili, don't you think? That's rubbish. It's not like my French accent last week.
I like it. That was fantastic.
There's nothing wrong with my shelter. I'm quite content here on the.
Keep it going.
I can't think and be French.
I can't think in French at the same time.
It's
You-
multitasking.
She looks over you and she's like, there's no need to roleplay John Claude when you're with me. It's fine. You can come over, sit by the fire.
Yeah, that's way better. No, seriously, I'm quite happy with my campsite. You know, I was quite happy here by the river. It was pleasant. I didn't think about the time of year. I don't think of carrying a calendar. No one had mentioned it.
You see Tasha looks over at you and she's like, you get the waft of smell of cooking sausages and bacon and eggs and tomatoes. And she's like, I've took the liberty of making you all the breakfast for the morning. I hope you don't mind. I know you're quite finicky with the cooking and stuff, but I figured you all needed the rest after that excruciating day yesterday.
Madame, I appreciate this so much. You know, it makes such a great change from the turnip soup I've been feeding us all for so long. I'm so sick of the turnips. Why haven't they gone off? How can I carry so many? How?
One of the many mysteries yet to be solved in this
I
world.
dream of turnips and also those other dreams.
Do you go over and sit with at the campfire, or you're staying by where you were sleeping?
No, for sure. I'd love to go and sit down.
Okay, so you go
I
over.
feel like we're friends now.
You go over and warm yourself by the fire, start kind of rubbing your arms and your body to warm yourself up as she's just sort of just poking around the sausages on the frying pan, you know, just kind of flipping them over and just kind of rolling them as she speaks. And she's like, do you remember the last conversation we had, John Claude?
It was quite a... Could you just jog my memory? Sorry.
We went through the story of your life, or at least the life that you could possibly have. Life yet to be. the life of you, Belladonna, the life you could have had with Harland,
Yeah.
the life you did have with Harland.
Yeah.
And I spoke about this world being disconnected from others, the world that I was from. And I asked, not asked, but maybe directed, maybe I wasn't clear enough, I alluded too much. I mentioned about seeking out an individual. Do you remember the individual's name?
I had that on a piece of paper for so long, and then it didn't come up. Oh, fuck. Hang on. Just give me a second. Shadowdale. I need to go to Shadowdale
Mm-hmm.
and find somebody there. Elminster.
That's the very
He's a
one.
powerful ally.
Very powerful. The most by some people. I believe he might have a lot more in common with your plight than you think. This entity that revealed itself yesterday essentially played its hand. And she looks up at the sky above, and you look up, Junclord, through the canopy trees, and you can see the scarring in the sky still there, almost like that northern light effect with the cracked mirrored reality in the middle of the colours. She looks back down. This creature, Acererak, I think you might have the means of fighting him. I fear whatever it was that you fought in Castle Obarksyr might not be as true as you thought it might be. I believe this entity is the cause of the blue fire, the one that's been ravaging everything. Absolutely everything. It's made me weak, and I would see him destroyed. And I think, and she looks around to the hut and to the tent, and then she looks back to you. I know you don't claim to be the hero archetype. I know you someone who likes to, quite frankly, shit on that, and I respect that. But I think when push comes to shove, the world needs a hero, and not all of us get to choose. And she kind of pokes the sausages around once more, and then she kind of leaves the kind of spork onto the cast iron pan, which for you is like desecration. It's like you shouldn't leave utensils in a flaming hot tool, but she leaves it there, and she stands up. She kind of brushes herself off, and she's got a bunch of snow that's kind of like melted onto her lap. Kind of brushes it off, and all the floor's like sludge. It's not like setting as of yet. Just think on it, Junclord. So I say, I don't know how many more near misses you and your companions might have. And I feel like you guys always seem to end up at the right place at the right time, or potentially the wrong place at the wrong time, depending on your outlook of things, I guess. And she kind of waves her hand, and you see this spiraling kind of portal open up behind her, almost Doctor Strange style. And you see inside the portal a land of grey. There are dead trees, large crags, with a solitary hut located in the centre. And she turns around, goes to walk into it, and it's kind of blowing all the leaves on the ground away. And she looks over her shoulder, and she's like, "Be careful about one of your companions in the Nine Hells, Junclord. They carry a powerful artifact that will have them turn on any of you if improperly managed. I hope we meet again."
What do you mean you hope?
And then she just steps through the portal, and then it starts closing up to a needle point dot before closing, and this like high-pitched sound emits from it as it dissipates, and the sound passes through into the hut, and it wakes all of you up, almost like that high-pitched kind of ringing sound for like a moment, and you'll kind of like stir awake everyone that's in the hut. So Gregory, Fiddle, and Soleil, as you all stir awake, kind of stretch a bit, not the most comfiest of sleeps, and then you look out over to the campfire outside the hut, and you just see Junclord there sitting over, and you can smell the breakfast cooking.
Yeah, I guess I get up, do a little stretch, exit the hut.
Where are you going?
What?
Where are you going?
I'm going outside.
What for?
Reasons?
Care to allude to those reasons?
I didn't particularly know that I had to.
I'd like you to.
Well, I'm going outside because my good friend JC is outside. I'm going to go and see him. And then I might go for a little walk in the morning to clear my head.
Who are you going to meet?
No one. Going to walk on my own. I enjoy solitude from time to time.
Sounds fishy.
We didn't ask your opinion.
You see Soleil looks over at this exchange. She's like, ugh.
Don't you start. Ridiculous. And then I start walking over to JC with Gregory.
As you both exit the hut, you feel the cold temperature instantly hit you as the hut is warm, but as soon as you walk out of it, it instantly hits you and you're just like, stop. You know, just runs through your body as you see JC just sitting next to the campfire.
Oh, it's chilly outside, isn't it?
It's a bit nippy.
It's a little bit nippy, isn't it?
JC, how about we go inside? Can you bring the food inside?
Bonjour, my friends. Please come and join me
Yes,
around
yes.
the campfire. I have cooked us the most amazing breakfast today. I haven't.
It does look
but
delicious, but
it's a long story.
Any chance we could take it inside?
Turnip soup again.
Just come and take a seat. The morning air is good for
I'm
you.
going to take a quick walk. I need to relieve myself. Back in a moment. So heading towards the tree line.
Okay, so Gregory walks off towards the tree line.
Once he turns around, can I pop up FM next to me, cast invisibility on him, and tell him to go and come, follow him?
Okay. You cast invisibility and you hear cheep cheep. And
Can I roll a perception check?
sure. Perception contested with stealth check.
13.
That one. He just flies right into you.
So,
flies right
you-
into your back.
Yeah. So, Gregory, you hear like
Yeah.
cheep cheep, and you're
Okay.
like, and you kind of look out, and you don't see anything, but you hear these wings fly straight past your ears, and then as you hear this massive thud as FM flies straight into the tree in front of you, takes some damage, and then drops out of his invisibility and rolls in front of your feet. Chip chip.
Phil, can you call back your monkey?
Fucking idiot. Pop him out of existence.
Okay. Like, cheep cheep. And so disappears.
Okay, yeah, I keep heading towards the tree line.
Okay. So while you head towards the tree line, is there anything in particular, JC and Fiddle, you're doing, or are you just having breakfast?
Okay, what do you think he's doing? What do you think he's up to?
I would like to think he's just taking a shit.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right.
What
Yeah,
do you think?
Yeah, you're probably right.
What do you?
I don't know, man. He's got this sword. He's got this sword. I've never seen it before. I've never thought about it before. He is quite evil, isn't he? Just as a person. Now he's got this big evil sword. Honestly, he showed up and everything started going wrong. I'm suspicious of him.
I see.
You don't see it? It's awfully suspicious. Going off taking walks. Taking walks? Who takes walks with a big old evil sword? I'm just saying watch out for him. Just saying watch out. Alright?
All right.
Alright, good. Now what's in these sausages?
Alright, so-
I love paranoid fiddles so much.
Yeah. They're poison. They're poison. Okay, so while you're having breakfast, you two, Gregory, what are you doing?
Am I in the tree line? Am I
Yeah,
away?
yes. So
Okay.
you've walked, it's like a kind of like a small little hill that walks up, and then you walk down the hill and it takes you out of sight from them. They're still within earshot, or you could keep walking further to get out of earshot as
Yeah, a
well.
little bit out of earshot.
Okay, so you walk for about 2-3 minutes and you feel like you're far enough away. You kind of follow the stream down the forest and find a nice little kind of it's a little alcove thing that you can kind of walk behind, and you feel like you're pretty alone.
Great. I'd like to pull out my sword, please.
Okay, so you pull out the sword and you start hearing running through your head as you pull it out, and you look at the black blade of Black Razor with the starlight imagery along the blade surface.
What is it you want from me?
Just hear. don't really get a response, just that same weird echoey noise.
I know you can understand me. What do you want?
You start feeling this kind of, it almost feels like a crawling hand walking up your back and then to the back of your neck and then crawling into your hair, and you hear the voice come through.
Feed me.
See, this isn't how this works. You're a tool. Understand this. I use you, not the other way around. Okay? Now we can make this a partnership. Or I'll do everything in my power to discard you.
Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Or 13.
13. You start feeling your arm not become you, and it starts moving, and so the arm that's holding the hilt starts moving the long sword, and then your other arm stops not becoming you, and you resist it, and then it pushes further, and you can't push against it no matter with all your strength, Gregory, and it clasps around the handle, so both your hands are around it, and it starts angling the blade towards your gut, and you're shaking. You are shaking with all your might as it starts pulling and pulling, as you start feeling the tip of the blade right on the skin where your belly is.
So just like to say, I'm immune to fear. So, to use logic, you could do that, but then you'd be without a hand. I don't think anyone else is stupid enough to pick you up.
You hear the voice come through.
I own you.
May think that for now, but trust me, you'll bend to my will, or you'll break.
Just start hearing the same thing. The blade's still poking your belly, not piercing, just poking, and then it releases.
Is there a rock next to me?
I'd say there's rocks, yeah, because you're near a stream, as well as some other kind of clear spaces. There are a couple of rocks, not big ones.
Okay, well, I'm going to smash it against a rock.
Okay, I'll say roll me an athletics check.
It's 14.
14. Okay, so you swing it above your head, and then, and this sound, all of you, those of you at the campfire hear this. You hear this like crackling shockwave just whoosh, straight through the King's Forest, as it's not like impactful to the point where it's going to blow over a tent or blow over a campfire, but it just whoosh, washes straight through. And Gregory, you feel the full force of this, as I need you to make me another wisdom saving throw.
24.
24. Okay,
Can we go running down there?
Sure.
I pull out my wand and run after him. I knew he was up to no good.
so you take half of 25, so you take 12 necrotic damage, as these kind of black tendril swirls all kind of emit from the blade, and then all kind of shock into your chest and your torso area, kind of dealing that negative energy damage towards you as you start feeling that sunken feeling, drop to one knee, and start feeling Black Razor just sort of shaking and vibrating in your hand.
I feel as though I've made a mistake.
I own you.
For now, not for long. Maybe we can come to some kind of arrangement. Work together.
So yeah, about this time you see Fiddle and JC run over the kind of ridge, and then you can see him down by the stream.
Gregory, what are you doing?
What? I'm practicing martial arts.
With a cursed sword?
It's a sword.
It's an evil sword.
I mean, and to an extent, aren't all swords evil? I mean, think about a hammer. Think about a hammer, for example. A hammer also has other uses other than combat. You can build things with a hammer. An axe. You can chop down a tree and get some wood. But a sword is only designed to fight. Is that not evil?
Gregory, roll a deception check. Fiddle, roll an insight check.
That was in that one.
Nice. Nice. I only got a 6.
All right. Well, he's stumbling over his lie, so you can tell there's something not quite up. You don't really know what, but he's obviously up to no good. It's definitely not just practicing martial arts.
Hey, you got to get rid of that sword, Gregory. It's no good for you.
Powerful sword.
Why do you hate this sword so much?
Because it's an evil sword. This
Why-
was the
why
sword that
is it
Necros
evil?
used.
Was Necros evil?
Nobody got sucked into that portal.
Necros was weak.
Come on, Gregory. Throw the sword in the river.
I can't.
What do you mean?
It's a good sword. I can't throw it away.
But it's evil. It's making you evil.
No, it's not. How dare you?
How dare I? How dare you?
I saved your life.
Yeah, but you had that look on your face.
What look?
Like you were gonna betray us.
Betray you?
Yeah.
How would I betray you?
Just, being evil and stuff.
Fiddle, I don't like this line of questioning. What happened to you?
You happened. You're just being evil and stuff.
Not evil, okay? Sure, I've done some questionable things. But who hasn't?
And you own an evil sword.
It's not evil.
It's pretty evil.
As you're both having this kind of standoff, you see a human male walk over the ridge behind Fiddle and JC, wearing blue robes, bald head, a staff at his side.
I go, who are you? And point my wand at him.
You point the wand, yeah, so you see middle-aged human male, bald head, shaven face, wears blue robes over a leather-fastened tunic with a book satchel slung over his shoulder. He holds a silver staff with the heads of the staff frozen over. So he holds his hand out. He's like, "Wait, it's me. It's Sthavar, the Lord Magister.
No, good for you. What do you want?
What's going on here? What's going on? We cannot fall apart at this moment. We need to
What
stick
are you
together."
talking about falling apart?
Wouldn't you like to know?
Why are you fighting?
We're not.
What is this about?
We're just having a friendly discourse.
Go away.
Well, you're shouting. I can hear you from the camp.
Of course we're shouting. We're friends. We get loud when we're around each other.
We're shouting because you've walked over here.
Do you not understand the danger we are in at this present moment?
Don't understand the danger you're in. Come in to interrupt our conversation.
Who is it you think you're talking to right now? Who is it you think you see?
You are Gregory, yes?
Yes. And let me reassure you, my friend, we are not in danger. We are the danger.
Ugh. He just kind of... He just palms. Listen, I understand you think you're very dangerous. Good for you. But please, if we could all just calmly come back to the campfire and we can sort this all out there. Calmly. Does that sound like a plan with
At
everyone?
this moment, I'd like to look down at Black Razor and look at him. Look down at Black Razor. Look at him.
He's just looking at both of you, like eyeballing him, like, what the fuck is going on?
I'd like to calmly put the sword away.
You just hear that just disappear into the back of your head, Gregory, as you put it away. It's like, good. And he looks down at you, Fiddle, and he's like, and you, Fiddle.
Go back to the camp. We'll be up shortly.
Okay, just please don't kill each other. That's all I ask. And he puts his staff into the back, this kind of like holder thing in his robe, and he starts walking back towards camp.
I've never liked him. He's always given me an evil vibe, that man.
Oh, Fiddle. Helm's bells, please. What is wrong with you? What's happened?
What do you mean? I'm fine. It's nothing. I'm fine. No, it's nothing. I'm fine. Leave me alone. As I storm back to camp.
So Fiddle just storms up the ridge, leaving just JC and Gregory just kind of standing there.
Is it just me, or is there something off about him?
Yeah. Definitely seems pretty paranoid.
Yeah, it's strange. He used to be so fun and carefree, and now everyone's evil. Gregory's got an evil sword. No idea where he'd get that notion from.
It's evil, though, isn't it?
Fine, okay, it's an evil sword. It's an evil sword, and it speaks to me, and it tells me to kill people. All right, you've got me.
You should probably get rid of the sword.
It was a joke. It doesn't actually. It doesn't say that. It's not speaking to me right now.
Feed me.
I can hear it.
What do you mean?
Can we just bury it?
Why is everyone going crazy around here? First Fiddle
Oh.
being all paranoid. Now you're hearing my not evil sword speak.
Okay, fine. I'm gonna go and run after Fiddle. And then I'm gonna run up to him. And I'm gonna say, Fiddle, my old son,
Wrong accent.
you're a wee bit paranoid. You need to sort your shit out.
Try again.
And I'd like to run back down the hill. Oh, yes, Gregory. I must go to Shadowdale. I do not have time for all of these shenanigans. I must go. I think the world depends on it. If you would all care to join me, I will meet you there. But I must go. And then I'd like to find my horse that I had once.
It's not with you.
I've lost Belladonna, my horse. I don't know where any of my shit is. I'm just going to start Which way is Shadowdale? I'd like to just start walking there. I'd yell back to Fiddle. Fiddle! Just pop it out!
He can't hear you from where you are. You're like 5 minutes out
Look.
of camp.
Look, just to prove that the sword's not evil, I'm going to throw it away. I'm going to try and throw away the sword.
Roll me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, it's 21.
Okay, so you go to pull out the blades, and JC, you see this as his arm kind of shoves the blade back into its sheath, and then you see Gregory has to get his other arm to hold that arm that's pulling the blade out, to like get the strength to pull it out, and then he,
Everything's perfectly fine.
in one motion,
Regular hand motion.
he
Just cold out today, and I'm seizing up.
he throws his whole body weight behind the throw, and it's like a pathetic throw. It's like a half-assed kind of chuck, but he manages to release the blade as it lands into the stream.
See?
Did you... Alrighty. Well, good job.
Thank you.
I'm not sure you meant for that to happen. But...
Yes, I did.
Monsieur Gregory, I would so truly appreciate it if you would come with me to Shadowdale. I do not have time to explain. We must go.
Well,
It is no. All right.
but, no, I mean, I'll come. It's okay. Like, no time to explain. I mean, what? I mean, I guess Moloch isn't really here, and I guess there's not really a kingdom to defend anymore. Not that we really cared about it in the first place,
Yeah.
but
Are we still employed by the Queen?
I,
We had some kind of term of service.
Well,
I'm not sure whether we have completed it.
I mean,
It
I
is
did.
taking too
I
long.
did kind of bring her back to life, and I guess she kind of owes us something. So maybe to release us from her bondage, maybe.
Yeah. Can she just give us a few quid and send us on our way? Like we need to. Look, I'm sorry.
would
I
suggest you both
really
walk.
have something super important to do, and it's not fighting your civil war. So
I would suggest you walk back up to the campsite, and we should, break our bond with her and see if we can get some money. And then
All right,
head
yeah,
off to
okay.
Shadowdale.
all right, let us do that. Can we do that, God? Can we do that over breakfast?
So as you head back to the camp, I'll
So
say
yeah, just go back to the camp. I think I do need to relieve myself actually.
No, fuck. Fine, please take your
Roll an
time.
inside check.
Okay, can I roll an inside check?
of course you can. Gregory, roll a deception check.
It's a 17.
9.
Seems like he needs to take another piss.
Okay, fine. Take your time.
I'm back soon.
Okay, quick. If we can do all of the talking without him, we might be able to make this quicker.
Fiddle walks back to camp. JC follows suit, walks over the ridge, and they're all out of sight, Gregory, if there's something in particular you want to do.
Go and get the sword.
Okay, so you go pick up the sword, put it back in your scabbard. No one will ever know.
So hold on a second. If I were to leave the sword there, what can I roll like an insight check to figure out if there's going to be any kind of ramifications if I just leave the sword there?
Um, I would say it'd be more Arcana check.
Okay, let me give it a go.
Yeah, Arcana or Religion, actually.
Yeah, so I got a 13 on Arcana.
13. You're not entirely sure what the ramifications are, but you do feel, because you do use the weave in an arcane, in a holy sort of energy, so you do feel the weave in some aspects, in divine energy, and you do feel there is a tether between you and the blades. No matter where you go, you are tethered to it. What that means, you don't know, but you can kind of extrapolate from that. No matter where you go, you are tethered.
Okay.
So I'm gonna leave you with that while you ponder that. So Fiddle, as you get back to camp, you see Sthavar's there, and you see Queen Alusair's risen from her sleep, and she's sitting over the tent. Over the campfire, and she looks over at you, and then a couple minutes later sees John Claw come over, and she's like, I haven't properly thanked you for everything you did for me.
It's okay.
Is this breakfast up for grabs? Can I grab some?
It
Yep.
is. Go
Please do.
Okay.
For it. Go for it.
And she starts like help herself to a plate, and she's like, Sthavar, do you want some? And he's like, no. And she's like, all right, more for me then. Starts make herself a plate, and she's like, I haven't done this in like, over 5 years. It's mad. And she's sort of like lost in sort of, reminiscing about something, and then she kind of shakes it off, and you see, having a look at her properly, the queen, she's a human female in her 40s, long yellow hair braided into one singular ponytail that falls over one of her shoulders, a strong square face with high cheekbones. She's wearing her plate armor that she always seems to wear, but upon closer inspection, now that you can see it, it has dwarven runes inscribed around the cuffs, the pauldrons, and the chest piece. She is still wearing the Obarksyr crown on her head, and to her side, she's laid a greatsword next to her. To look at it, it's like an ancient and battered greatsword, one that you'd find down at like the crypt with like an old dead knight. It's loads of imperfections and chiseled pieces of the blade missing. It has a wide crossguard with a long handle wrapped in blue-dyed leather with a flat pommel at the end. And as she sat there, she's like, you all seem like you're in a bit of a altercation. Is everything fine?
Yes, Your Majesty. I think I'm just going a bit crazy. I think whatever came out of the sky has affected me quite badly.
You see, as you're like looking over at him, you see Sthavar's standing behind us. So she's sat down on a log, and he's standing almost like watchful. You kind of see he's got like sort of like a relatable glance to you for a second, then he goes back to his demeanor again, and she's like, this Acererak that supposedly attacked, what do you all know of him? She's like kind of looking down. John Claude, you've joined by this point, and Gregory, you're just walking down the ridge to join the camp.
I don't think we know a huge amount. We haven't actually spoken about it since it appeared. It's been sort of go, go, go. I think I've heard the name before in a few places and a few, like, children's books almost. Nothing concrete. Nothing really factual. Anybody else?
You see Sthavar chimes in while you say that, and he's like, I concur. I've seen this name in passing, but nothing actually that would be hard evidence, if this makes sense. It's supposed to be some sort of like ghost, usually. A sort of scary story. I did not think it was a real thing until obviously yesterday, where there's a giant skull in the sky. But this is beside the point, Your Majesty. I believe the attempt was an assassination on your life. I do not believe we are safe here. I think we should travel. I believe we should go somewhere safe. I do not know where else except from... I know you're not going to like this, but I believe we should seek out Elminster. And she looks over at her shoulder, and she's like, no. let's start with the question. He deserted us too long ago.
Have I arrived back at the camp yet?
You've arrived back at the camp, yes.
Good morning, Your Majesty.
And she looks over at you and kind of gives you a knowing nod and then goes back to her conversation. She's like, that is out of the question. I need to return back to Suzel. I need to re-establish order within the kingdom.
If I may interject,
She looks over and she's like, please.
take a look.
You see Sthavar as you say that, and he's like, how dare you speak to the queen when she does not, and she holds...
Yes,
she-
yes,
she
yes,
holds
yes,
out-
yes. That's fine.
She holds out
whatever.
a hand and she's like, no, Sthavar, they came back and saved us when no one else would. I would hear what he has to say.
If you'd just like to take a quick look at the horizon, see that large tear in the sky?
She nods.
A powerful queen you may be, but I do believe this issue may be slightly out of your jurisdiction at this point. So I'd suggest that maybe Elminster isn't such a terrible idea. You may have whatever history you have with him, but at the same time, if there's anyone in the mortal realms currently that's going to be able to help with, the giant tear in the sky, it's probably going to be a magic man, isn't it?
Didn't you mention Elminster recently, JC?
Yes, for why?
The Queen just said, or the Queen's servant just said that.
I am Lord Magister. I am her humble servant, but I am Lord Magister. You address me as such. And she looks around. She's like, Sthavar, stop.
Yes, this man said that the Queen should go and seek out Elminster. And the Queen said, no, I couldn't possibly. I don't like him.
She leans forward and she's like, he could have stopped this whole civil war from happening in the first place. He's been around for so long now. No one really knows his true age, but he's been a great servant to Cormyr. But when he left, it just felt like all the order just dissolved. I was left to pick up the pieces after my father's death.
Can I mumble under my breath as like, sort of your job there, wasn't it?
Do we know why he left? Did he give a reason?
She doesn't catch the mumble, by the way,
Nice,
Gregory.
good.
She looks over at you, Fiddle. I think he just, he never really gave a reason. Everyone loved him, and he did help me when I was younger, tutoring and such, but I don't know if he just had enough. I'm not sure. It's a shame. If there was some other way that we could have avoided this whole thing, I think Cormyr and facing this, and she looks up at the sky once more, this threat. And she looks around at all of you and she's like, I can't just abandon my people, not now. This civil war needs to end so we can be united to whatever this thing is. As you say, Gregory, this is clearly a bigger threat than us all, but Cormyr needs to be united if we are to face it.
Well, sounds like the plan's made then. To Shadowdale.
I don't think I should abandon my subject. And Sthavar chimes in. He's like, I am but your humble servant, Your Majesty, but I do believe Shadowdale will be the safest place for us at the moment. And he looks round at all of you, and Sthavar, he's being quite cold to you, but still kind of being more formal, whereas she's being a lot more open. He's like, I don't want you all to react differently, and I want you to all act like you're continuing this conversation and looking over at us. And he looks over at you, Fiddle. I saw you cast spells. How powerful a arcane user are you, if you do not mind me asking?
On a scale of 1 to 9, I would say about 7.
Okay, yes, this makes sense to me. Are you able to see invisibility?
No, I don't believe so.
You see that Cormish sort of personality of turning the nose up, come in a little bit, and then he kind of stops himself. He's like, well, I don't want to alarm any of you, but for those of us that can see invisibility, there are currently 3 eyes up above this campfire looking down directly at us. Now, I do not know what any of these eyes belong to. However, we are being scryed upon. And, I mean, it seems like a wild guess, I know, but I would throw all my wealth in that one of them would be this Acererak. I believe the danger is very much still alive, and I believe we need to move. Whatever we decide soon, and we do it now. And you see the queen's stuck in 2 minds here. So I'm going to have one of you roll me a persuasion check with advantage because everyone but the queen is saying the opposite, and she's the only one being defiant.
I'll do it. So 22 on the first one, and then it's a nat 20 on the second. If I may, Your Majesty, I'd like to go and sit next to her, or at least opposite her.
Yeah, she allows it.
This is a travesty. I understand that this is your home, your kingdom. These are your subjects. But this has the potential to spread, not just over Cormyr, but the entirety of Faerun. I understand how you feel about running away. It's not running. You might be going in the wrong direction, but you're going in the direction of help. Whatever people may think of you now, they'll remember you after this as the queen that saved the realm. If there's anyone that's going to be seen in a good light after this, it's you. They won't remember you as the queen that ran away. They remember you as the queen that came back.
She looks at you, Gregory, like sat next to her, and you see for a moment, as you're like looking at her in the eye, she kind of forgets herself and almost over familiar, or staring at each other for longer than she should. She looks away for a second. She says, "It's not that I don't care about what people say. Of course I do, but I'm not worried about what people think of me after my regency ends. It's the people I care about. Whether they hate me for it or whether they love me, matters not. It's just that they live."
More people will live.
Your Majesty, this man in front of you may be the most evil man I've ever met, but I really do believe you need to trust him in this.
Sit down, Fiddle.
She looks around to all of you on the Nine Hells and looks up at Sthavar. She looks down the fire once more. She finishes the rest of her breakfast, puts the plate down. She looks up at Sthavar again. She's like, "So how are we getting to Shadowdale then?" And he looks round at all of you. "Well, I can teleport us there. It'd probably be a lot safer than going through King Azun's domain. No doubt if they catch us, they'll definitely behead Her Majesty and myself, and probably all of you included, if they capture us, so that's probably not the best option. So I would suggest teleport."
Sounds good.
She looks round at all of you lot, literally asking for your counsel, which is very odd in this position. She's like, "All right, teleport it is." And Sthavar looks around. He's like, "Do any of you?"
Can I eat breakfast first?
Yes, of course, as long as you're quick.
What do we get for a Tasha's breakfast? We usually get, temporary hit points for a JC breakfast. I can only imagine what we're gonna get for a Tasha breakfast.
So, with a Tasha's breakfast, you get
100 temporary hit points. Thank you so much, Laura.
Minus 15 hit points.
essentially,
Oh, is it gonna be like Hero's Feast?
it's going to be exactly like Hero's Feast. So-
Nice. It's gonna be exactly just like a Hero's Feast.
All creatures are cured of diseases and poison, so any disease affecting you or poisons affected become immune to poison and being frightened, and make all wisdom saving throws with advantage. Your hit point maximum increases by 2d10, and it gains the number of hit points for these benefits for 24 hours. So, you make you eat your breakfasts and your stuff. Sthavar hurries you up the entire time. He's watching over all of your shoulders, trying to get you to shove down the sausages and bacons and all that stuff as you start rolling up your bedrolls. Kick over the campfire. Is there anything else anyone wants to do before you teleport to Shadowdale? JC, Fiddle?
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, I think I'm good.
I think we're all pretty good.
Alright. JC?
All good.
Alright. Sthavar starts drawing down the teleport, brings you all into the center, and before he finishes it, he looks over at some of you and he's like, "Listen, we want to remain incognito. This makes sense while we're there." He looks over at the queen, who's wearing this full plate armor with a crown on her head with a great sword, and he looks over at you lot and he's like, "Does any of you have like a cloak or a cape you could potentially lend the queen while we're in there? Because if we draw more attention to ourselves, then there's going to be breadcrumbs to follow for whoever might be looking at us at the moment.
I do. Yeah, I take the one that I used for the ball. I give it to her.
I could make you invisible.
No, I think I'll take Gregory's travel cloak if that's okay with you.
I could polymorph you into a rat and you could sit in our pocket.
I am not being a rat, and
I could polymorph you into a dog. Bark behind
I'm
us.
not being changed into any animal. She takes the traveler's cloak off Gregory, puts the hood over her crown and stuff.
You can at least take the crown off.
No, I cannot. It protects me. So she looks like the cloak does a good job of shrouding her shape, but she does look like she's very bulky due to the armor. As Sthavar finishes the teleportation circle, and then you start seeing all the glyphs light up and all this white light. As he's like, okay, try not to be sick at the other end. As you all teleport, and a serum white light hits your vision for a moment, and as you all feel weightless for what seems like a long pause, you suddenly feel some solid mass underneath your feet as you all kind of like catch yourselves, your knees bending, catching your weight before standing up, and your visions come back to you, and the sounds start creeping in of birds and chirping as the white light subsides and the glyphs lower down, and there's like a small circle that appears on where you've landed, where you see hard granite land. You all stand atop a large dome-shaped hill overlooking a village below. This hill that you stand on is bare, with patches of grass in between granite volcanic rock. As the village below, you see one long road stretching across from a bridge that goes over a river to your right, and then runs along a path past a lake, further still, and then runs into a forest on your far left. You see multiple smaller roads that deviate off this main one, and you can see there's houses built up along the main road, all on the side of it, either side, and built up along the offshoot roads. You can see some larger buildings as well as some smaller buildings. And it all seems to be all farmland, all mainly from the small little people, the little specks you can see down by the road, all small little specks. As you see, mostly a farming community. Welcome to Shadowdale.
Yes.
So, I've got a photo aid here.
How exciting. Finally. Shadowdale.
Progress.
Good.
Nice.
Where are we?
So, you are currently at number 2. You'll probably have to open this into a separate page to have a look at it.
Should we describe this for the podcast as well?
Well, I thought I just did.
Yeah, we're on the ridge.
What? You said we were at number 2 on a ridge.
I thought you meant like describing the whole
What do we see
village.
down behind it?
So,
No, yeah, just sort of.
yeah. So, number 2 is basically, like I said, it's like a large hill, a mound that's like runs adjacent to the road. It's got kind of like 3 tiers that lead up to the top, all dome shaped. Obviously, I did this all on Incarnate, so I can't make it as accurate as possible, but it gives the impression of what I'm trying to go for, or what Shadowdale is, should say.
Nice.
They're currently overlooking the whole of the village, so they're raised up on a tall hillside place that overlooks the whole road, and they can see from one forest line to the other, and in between that, this long road where the village sits. As Sthavar pulls his staff down, he's like, okay, so remember, all of you, we have to remain as inconspicuous as possible. Our mission here is to find Elminster. I do not know where he is. I don't know. And he looks at you, John Claude, and he's like, someone said that you know Elminster is here. Do you know whereabouts, where he lives?
No. Unfortunately, I don't recall. I just know that he's here, and I figured I would just take it from there.
I mean, that wizard's-looking tower down
yeah.
there.
Yeah,
It's probably a good
that
place to
twisted-looking
start.
tower looks. I'd probably start there.
Looking on the map, there is a very big tower that looks like possibly a wizard's tower.
I see. Well, I can see a building with some text above it that says the Old Skull Inn. So I might take Her Majesty there. Realistically, I say it seems like there looks like a tavern down there. I am wary about her walking around. The longer she's out in public, the more chances of her being spotted. I think, I mean, you're more than welcome to come with if you want, and then head off from there, or we can split off and meet back at the tavern. It is up to you all.
I did think about going to the tavern.
Yeah, we
first,
might
but
as well go straight to the
I
tavern.
thought we have just woken up, so we didn't really need to go and check ourselves in. Just
Yeah, we might as well stay as a group though.
yeah,
rather
you're
than
right.
splitting
Oh,
up.
very well.
Looking over to the west side of the map,
Yes.
I can see that there is a shrine to Mistra over the river. Can I see that it is Mistra from this far away?
Roll a perception check. Because
Ooh,
you
okay, we'll
you
do-
will be able to see it. It's just if you can discern it from the kind of landscape.
Interesting. Can I create a spyglass using my little feature?
You can.
And zoom in.
You kind of you spot a little weird ridge in the hill, so you kind of clasp your hands together, pull them apart, and a spyglass appears, and you see Sthavar look over at you, like kind of cocking an eyebrow, so impressed. As you look over, so you see a 10-foot by 10-foot pyramid-shaped statue that rises up in tiers, and to look at it, it does look like it would be a statue or monument to Mistra.
Alright, okay. I note that down in my brain and yeah, continue down to the tavern, put my spyglass away, and I think seeing as I'm still a little bit crippled, I'm gonna pop out my cane and walk with that instead.
So Fiddle embraces his inner old man as he you all walk down from the ridge. As you do, you pass, like I said, lots of farmlands. The photos there's a photo aid. It's not entirely accurate, but it will do. As you pass different sort of plots of lands, each one farmed by different, seems like different families, each one. And the first people you pass, you see Sthavar leading the way, and Queen Alusair doing her best to keep her hood over her face as she follows behind. As you see one of the farmers looks up over at all of you, sort of that classic film. The camera's panning by, they're panning by, and then he does a nod, and then the farmer looks over, then quickly looks back down to the soil and starts tilling more faster, a bit like nervous, and kind of just Sthavar just shakes it and carries on walking. As you walk past the House of Plenty, seems to be a temple on the eastern side of town, and you come onto the main road where you see there's a rows of houses with the Old Skull Inn lodged pretty much in the centre of the houses. John Claude,
We
as you're all walking in a group, I don't know, are you all walking one by one, or are you all walking as like a group together? Would you say all of you are?
we're all on a line, holding hands and skipping.
Okay.
I'm not, I'm walking with my cane.
Fiddles in like a bag.
I don't think Soleil would do that either, so she's kind of walking behind.
Nah, she's loving it.
Sure. Well, you see one of the locals walks up to you. He seems like a farmhand, half elven. One of his ears are kind of lopped off, kind of grizzly neck beards that kind of falls down to make a bit of like a wiry kind of lion's mane. It looks very hideous. Wisps his hair on his top of his head, and you can see as he's kind of smiling at you, he's missing some teeth. All very yellow and black, the ones that are remaining, as he looks at you and he's like, "Oh there, how goes it, traveller? How goes the road? Hope you didn't run into any trouble coming to Shadowdale."
Not at all. Not at all. It's been a long and arduous journey, but yeah, we made good time this morning.
Oh,
From our camp, we woke up at first light and walked all the way here. So I think it's about time we stopped in at the inn.
oh, you look like an interesting fella. Seen a lot in your day.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I tip my top hat to him.
What are you all doing in this small little neck of the woods then, eh?
We're just travelling through, making our way north, trying to escape some more of the harsher points of the Civil War.
North? Whereabouts north are you going? You see this other farmer come up to you. It's an elven female, long kind of blonde hair, falls down to her chest. very slender frame. Seems like could be like a wife to this gentleman. She's like, "Oh, you're right there. How's it going? Where are they saying they're going off to, Seamus?" And he turns around. He's like, "Oh, they say they're going off north. They are." And she's like, "Oh, is that right? Oh, well, where north are you going?"
I lean into JC and just like, they're very talkative, aren't they?
Rather.
We're just heading up north to Arabelle. We've got some old family friends up there.
They look at you and they look at each other, and you see gentleman's like, Arabelle's back south, back towards Cormyr. They're heading up north. That's towards Campfire. Yeah, the forest of the elves. That'd be.
How far north are we? 1 second. I was trying to find Shadowdale on the map, and I can't find it.
Shadowdale's like basically in Campfire and like the forest, like on the very edges of it. It's
it is. It's not on the Cormyr map, is it?
it's like,
Sorry,
well,
can I say just Cormanther instead?
roll a deception check.
Can I help him?
What were you doing?
Nice, 20.
Don't worry about it. Cheering him on. Woo! You can do it.
I don't think Fiddle would have made that mistake with his keen mind, knowing what a map looks like.
Yeah, I was helping because I know maps.
All right, roll with advantage because they rolled quite high.
Oh, really? Higher than 20? Shit.
Mm-hmm.
No, didn't get it. That was an 11 on that one.
See, they look at each other and they kind of look at you with a suspicious look. And she's like, "Oh, all right then, Seamus. Well, I think we better be And they kind of look at each other and better get back to the plot then." And he's like, "All right, you are. Don't cause any trouble while you're in the village, eh?"
Yeah, we won't. We'll all right, we'll just hang around here for a little bit and then carry on with our journey south. Like I said, we were coming from the north. Remember?
Yeah.
Heading south.
Yeah,
heading south to Arabelle. This man's from Cormyr. He's got to go and join up for the Civil War.
You see the females sort of like patting the man on the shoulders, like, "Come on then, Samuel. Come on, back to the farm."
I'm not lying.
As they
I'm not lying.
walk back to the farm and start tilling,
Oi.
and they watch you,
Oh, I said I'm not lying.
and
Come back
you
here.
see Sthavar pulls your arm, pulls your arm, Fiddle, and he's like, "Will you shut the fuck up?
He thinks I'm lying.
We're supposed to be incognito."
Fiddle.
Exactly, and they think I'm lying. They're going to go and
That's okay,
spread
just-
rumours around the whole
just-
town saying
Can
we're
you
new
just let it
sort
go.
your
lions.
companion out,
Just
quick?
let it go, Fiddle. I'm trying, all right? Don't rush me, okay?
He's awkwardly like looking around and just shuffling on, like he's walking ahead, pretending this whole thing ain't happening.
Like, okay, Fiddle, it's fine, all right.
Okay, where are they?
He believes
Where are they
you.
going?
They gone back to tilling, but roll a perception check actually.
That was a 4.
They've just gone back to tilling.
Oh, what's he looking at, Fiddle? What are you staring at off in the distance there?
Yeah, I'm just looking at these people. Nothing. So good. So good.
Can I have a look
Yeah, roll me a perception check.
with your?
Just those 2 people over there. They think I'm lying.
And we're going to have to kill him.
No, nothing like that.
20, dirty 20.
20. Okay, so Fiddle, you're sort of like a bit annoyed about the whole altercation. You're still sort of dwelling on it. JC, with a calmer head, you look over and you see the man's gone back to tilling, and you look at him closely, and he's not even like tilling the ground. He's just sort of like grazing over the top. And you look at the female elf, and she kind of puts a tool to the side and then goes back into a house next to the farmland, and she disappears for about like 10 seconds, and then you see like the shutters on the window open ever so slightly, and like you can see her face in there kind of like staring at you. Like staring at you all, not staring at you, seeing that you spot her, just sort of looking at you all as you are like standing there, suspicious.
Yeah, this isn't ideal. They definitely didn't believe us. I think our cover's probably blown already.
You know, I'm gonna go over there and I start walking over to them.
Oh no! Absolutely not. And I grab him by his tiny backpack.
I'm gonna use my benign transposition and jump 30 feet forward with a teleport,
Okay, so
and then carry on walking over to them.
JC, you go to grab Fiddle as he kind of dissipates, and then in a bit of mist kind of appear up. Who are you heading towards? The man tilling or the hut? Sorry, the house.
Oh, is it just the man tilling outside?
It's just
Where
the man
good
tilling
lady is?
outside.
In
The,
hut.
the,
Okay,
the
yeah.
woman went to go back, and she
Yeah,
picked up a
perfect.
tool.
Yeah. I'm just gonna go over to the man.
Okay, so you go over to the man, and as you appear, he's like, um,
I go,
Oh.
hi. I just wanted to speak about what happened a second ago.
yeah, what you, yeah, what is it you need?
I, I would just like to tell me what's going on here, and I cast suggestion.
All right, what's the save on it?
Wisdom 19.
He rolled an 18, but he's got +0.
Nice.
All right. He sort of like comes a bit flabbergasted, and he's like, and you see his voice changes, and he starts speaking in more of a fairer voice. He's like, "We are looking out for any sympathizers of Elminster
Why?
because the lady wants him."
Which lady? The lady who lives in the house over there. There's a house on the map separate from the rest of the village.
No, Lady of Loss, the Nightbringer.
Can you tell me more about her?
That's what you get from what's going on here.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Carry on working. We're here to help.
Okay. And you see he's constantly looking over at the hut. And JC, while this is going on, you see the woman's like disappear from the window. As Fiddle comes back to you on the road.
This doesn't look good. Apparently everybody in this village is looking out for signs of Elminster because the lady who owns the village is trying to look for him.
So he's not here.
Sounds like he might not be here. I wonder why she hates him so much. That's my first question. Maybe we should go and knock on her door.
Okay, why do you hate Elminster?
Yeah, exactly.
I think maybe it's all evil. Maybe they're...
Yes.
Wait.
Yes, now you're starting to think with your noggin. I think it's all evil too.
It's all paid off.
Yes.
Damn it.
Now you're talking sense, finally. Always knew I could trust you, JC.
Right.
Come on, let's go down to her house, bang on her door, find out what's going on. How do you feel about that, Your Majesty?
You see Sthavar's poking his head out of the Old Skull Inn. They've already gone into the tavern. He's just waiting for you guys to catch up.
What? Fuck's sake. I go in there after them.
So, are you all headed to the tavern? Is there anything else anyone's doing, or are you all heading in?
Yeah, I guess we go in.
Okay.
We could pretend to be bounty hunters. Someone's put a price on the head of Elminster.
That's not a bad idea. I like that way of thinking.
Well,
It is a bit
Okay,
deceptive, but what else can you expect from you?
I have. Well, don't speak to me like that.
Stop being so deceptive.
Hey,
Em.
well, I have a piece of parchment. We have an actual queen with us, and I'm sure she's got some kind of signet ring. So we get some wax, and then we get a little seal on it, and then it looks like an official bounty for the head of Elminster.
This sounds
Then
pretty
we
good.
take it up to the lady, and then we say, well, yes, we're a group of bounty hunters, or mercenaries, as you know. we sort of
That's
are.
a good point. We don't even need to pretend at that point.
Yes, we sort of are mercenaries. So we just kind of say that, yeah, we're here to take down Elminster.
So we can pretend to be mercenaries, which we sort of are, who are pretending to work for the Queen, which we sort of are, pretending to look for Elminster, which we sort of are.
We sort of are,
Let's just
yes.
tell the truth. This is fantastic.
So exactly. That's the best part about this lie, is it's heavily based in truth.
It is entirely the truth.
All right. So, as you all head into the tavern, you see on the outside it's a 3-floor stone building with a thatched roof and a smoking chimney. A smaller building off to the side of the building houses the stables. With a 2-foot-high stone wall runs the perimeter of the inn and the land around it. So the inn, the stables, and the farmland behind the building. As you rejoin Sthavar and Alusair inside the inn, it is a well-kept establishment. A large open space full of tables with chairs leading up to a second-floor balcony where it branches off into corridors for rooms and accommodation is provided. A bar sits to the right of the door that you've just entered with a human male standing behind it. Short ginger hair with an unkept ginger beard, dirty tunic and hairy forearms. As he wipes clean a mug, kind of spits in it, wipes it again, and then hangs it onto a hook. There is a handful of people within this tavern, all drinking in different groups, except for one. There's a one-armed human male sat in the far corner with a mug of ale, just drinking to himself. Lent on the wall next to him is a silver greatsword. As the bartender hails you down, the ginger bartender. Oh, hello there, strangers. Welcome to the Old Skull Inn, known for its quality food and drink as well as its friendly staff. We got hot food and cold drink as well as room and board for every kind of person. What can I get ya?
Can I see like a script anywhere? He's just
Roll a
he's read all
perception
that
check.
stuff. It's a 14.
Yeah, it's not that hard. As soon as you walk in through the archway, you look back at the door that you've just come from, and hanging above the door is this plaque with like all the inscription of what he's just read on it.
It doesn't quite feel as genuine now, does it?
Well, you know how it is. We want to make all our customers feel welcome, no matter who they are.
I mean, you could have said, hello, welcome to the inn. Can I get you anything? And I probably would have said, yes, please, sir. An ale would be lovely. Thank you for your service.
Would you like an ale?
Yes, please.
Like this, we're coming to the end of the session. I'm going to hop up onto a table. Prestidigitate some sparks up. Big loud booming gong noise. I go, listen up, fuckwits.
Oh, no, no.
We're the Nine Hells Mercenary Company and we're looking for Elminster. Who can help us?
You see Sthavar looks shocked, and like they're all kind of backed off. You see all the locals are just sort of like looking up confused. You see the gentleman with one arm in the like almost Aragorn style in Lord of the Rings kind of sits forward and gets illuminated slightly as you deliver that speech, and as you do, dong, everyone just looks up at you, just staring, not saying anything.
I'm gonna like quickly, well, not quickly, casually move over to the queen and just like put my arm around her and just kind of like walk into the corners, like it would just follow me and just stay out of sight.
She like follows your lead as you see Fiddle looking around at some of the people. You see some of them just put down their mugs. There's about 2 or 3 that just stand up from different groups and walk out of the inn. They just walk out. And you see the rest of them all look round, and you all notice this. They all look petrified at what you've just done. And you see the bartenders looking around. He's like, oh, and he starts clapping. He's like, that was a good joke. Good joke, yeah. And he just sort of like gets everyone to follow suit, and they're like, yeah. Well done, yeah. And they kind of go back to their drinks. And you see as they're holding up the tankards, like the tankards shaking as they're like pulling it up to their lips. And he's like looking around at all of you, and the bartender's eyes are wide, and he's sort of like thinking like, what have you done?
Perfect tragedy to fucking end the session. Wow.
Yeah, I think we're in the session there because yeah, that's not how I thought that was gonna go.
But why would you do that?
Why
the fuck would you do
There's
that?
a lot of secretism here. Secretive people.
And that was the whole fucking
But
point.
this was the plan. You said we were going to go in and say we were looking for Elminster. We were bounty hunters.
Yeah, no, to the lady's house, not to the fucking tavern.
It's fine.
We're gonna go and petition her directly.
Well, we can do that now anyway.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this is gonna be real interesting, man. Shit. Yeah, just railroad Ollie's perfectly crafted story. We just don't need a middle. We just need a beginning and end of every adventure. Yeah, that's great.
That was nice. Next.
Yeah. I don't like this one. I want to go Luskan. No. Shannydale's not for me.